Hey everyone, John Henry here, Slingshot Futures Trading Group. Welcome back. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at something that we've already talked about a few videos ago, but going a little bit deeper. And we're going to be looking at the market structure and just kind of zooming out and making sure you know where you are in the grand scheme of things, because we had a very interesting setup today on the NASDAQ that gave us basically exactly what we were talking about. Before we get into the video, of course, underneath the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content. Of course, along with that, like the video, show us that you like the content. And in the comments section, if you have anything that you want me to cover for you, whether it's a simple question or a full-blown video course that you want me to do for you, drop it in the comments so I can see what it is, and that might just be the next video. As always, on the main page of ssftg.com, you can check out a free 3-day trial. You can see what we do every day while we trade these bad boys while they're jumping around. But let's get into the video without further ado, and yeah, let's have some fun. All right, so digging into what happened today, looking at the overall market structure, we've got a situation here that is, I mean, man, picture perfect. Now, if you remember a couple videos ago, we were talking about how to orient yourself so you don't get stuck in the wrong place, selling at the bottom or something like that. And one of the best ways to do that is to zoom out. And this is a great example of it. We zoom out. Now, if you're, first off, before we jump in these black lines here, these are from the morning brief. You can find those right on ssftg.com on the main page. But I post these every morning. And for the NASDAQ, that area, in this case, we had 106.75, which is right there. And then we had a couple of them underneath, 603.25 and 531.50. And these were posted at about 9 o'clock this morning. It was a little bit late on the draw, but they're usually out before 9. And this gives us a zone of interest. Now, like you always hear me say, one thing by itself, that's not good enough. I need more than that. I need at least like 3 different things that are stacking up to tell me that there's a reason to believe some support here. So what we're looking for is marking out those areas and seeing, okay, well, does this line up with anything else? So if we zoom out to the wider time frame on something like a 15-minute chart, right out of the gates, we can see that 105.31.50, before today even happened, right? Ignoring everything that happened over here, we had support here, we had support here, resistance, resistance, support. It didn't quite make it there. You might be able to call that one support. It's iffy. Then we had another 3-press support down there, and then another close call. So obviously there's something going on here. And then along with that, in that same mindset, there's also some pretty good resistance up here at that 746.75. We're not there yet. So we know that this area is interesting regardless, whether or not it's on a, because it's on the morning brief that we post that every morning, or it doesn't matter. It's also backed by structure. So not only do we have our decision point level, but we also have structure backing it up. So now we can zoom into something even faster and look for a market turning point. Now, timing is very, very difficult sometimes. That's one of the most important parts of trading. It's just making sure that you're getting in at the right time. As an example, a buyer who may have bought here, technically, they weren't wrong. They were just really early to the party. And when they're early, you got to deal with all of this stuff. Now, sometimes those early traders, the ones who get in aggressively, they're the only ones that'll have a chance to get into the trade because it'll just leave everyone else in the dust. That's the risk you take by trying to get a little bit picky on your entries. But when we have a situation like this where we're grinding down, we have a 3-press bottom. You know I love those 3-press bottoms. And we have that right into that level of support. We already know that this area is a zone of major support based on what we saw in the 15-minute chart, and the fact that it's coming up as a decision point from the morning brief. So everything is lining up on this level, and now on the 1-minute chart, we see the market 3-press bottoming into that zone. And after that 3-press bottom, it rallies all the way up to a new high, and then holds a higher low. So what we're looking for here is some form of confirmation, and guess what? They just gave it to you. Huge failure on the bottom and a retest. Buyers will be buying here looking for a rotation back up again off of that zone, and it worked out just incredibly fast all the way back up to the next zone. Now you can take this even further and utilize the same kind of mentality, but on an even faster time frame. We know the 15-minute chart is giving us a zone of support or resistance. We know that there is a morning brief decision point that's right on that level. And now in the 1-minute chart, we're seeing a 3-press bottom, and now we're waiting for the market to break out and pull back and come back to that area as proof. So we can zoom into an even faster time frame, like a 10-second chart, and look for the exact same type of formation, same type of structure, giving you a reason to believe that the sellers are done in this case. The market flushes all the way down into that zone after a nice little consolidation. Looks like a pennant and a breakout, and then immediately reverses back up. That's a really big clue that something's wrong. Any sellers that were in that move down, they're not in it anymore. If they are, they're really sweating because there's some problems. So looking for that move, that squeeze, this tells us that the sellers are wrong. Now the sellers are on the back foot and they're just trying to get out, like, please come back, let me out. And the closest they were able to come was creating a support zone right here, which failed right on back up. And that is another way to jump in, utilizing a multiple tiered time frame all the way down to an incredibly fast. And right now I'm looking at a 10-second chart as a way to locate that entry. But just a phenomenal example of how going out to a larger time frame, finding that level of structural support that also lines up with the decision point from the morning brief, and on top of that, you go into an even faster time frame, and now you're starting to see 3 press formation bottoms. We're seeing trapping. We're seeing all kinds of different things that are lining up, telling the buyers that the sellers are probably done. Great example of using all of those in combination with one another. All right, and that's going to do it for this one. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, jhb@ssftg.com, with anything that you need taken care of or need help with. Until the next one, though, hope you had a great one, and we'll see you then. Thanks.